Alright, so as everyone's very well aware of, my channel is all about trying to help you, the individual, save a little bit of money, put a little bit of money in your pocket. Instead of getting a $1,000 bill, maybe do it for almost nothing and do it yourself. So I'm going to try to simplify the process today. And what my problem is I have a Chevy Cavalier. This is an 03, but they all from 95 to 05 are pretty much the same scenario as far as diagnosing what's wrong. So how I know the fuel pump's wrong, let me tell you some of the things that you want to do to diagnose it. Take a look right here, cameraman. And you're going to see fuel pump. See it right here? That says fuel pump. All Chevy Cavaliers have a fuel pump relay. And all you're going to do, you're going to have an individual hit the key, and when they turn it, they don't have to try to crank it, they just turn it on. And when you turn it on, you should be able to hear this click, and you can put your finger right on top of it, and it should be like click, click. And then you know the relay is good, you know your fuse is okay. Alright? Problem one. So now we have power. So the next thing we want to do is see if we have pressure. Because if you're driving down the road, your car just stops, it could be a fuel pump. That's just a reality of it. It's either a fuel or your timing's jumped or something, but if it's the fuel, this is all you got to do. See this valve right here? Now I could put my pressure gauge on it, but I've done so many of these that I know that if nothing happens, get right on here, man. Can you guys see this from this end? Keep concentrated on that valve right here. I'll get out of your way so you can actually look at it. Alright, see where this is going? You should be able to just press this. I just did. And nothing came out. A Phillips head works really the best because it's kind of blunt. Alright, I'm pushing it. I've got nothing. I know there's no fuel. Another thing you can do to see if it's your fuel pump, just to make yourself feel a little better about, you know, the situation, you can always just unplug this right here and shoot a little bit of carburetor cleaner, a little ether starter spray, just a little shot up in there, a couple shots. If the car starts for 1 second then dies, that's your fuel pump. Check them all. You'll see current coming on and off. Have someone turn your key on, turn your key off, and you can just take a regular test light and figure out what's negative and what's positive, and you're going to see one switching on from the relay, and then that's how you're going to know that you're getting power to the fuel pump. If you got to go that far, but pretty much, guys, let me tell you what. If you don't have fuel pressure, your fuel pump took a crap. Alright, so if you're interested in learning how to just switch out the pump, you want to keep watching because I'm getting ready to take it out of here. I'm going to replace it for about $10 out of a junkyard one. It's a pretty simple process. It takes a few minutes to do, but these things cost about $10 at a junkyard, and they're almost $300 if you bought it at AutoZone, and almost $500 if you bought it from the car dealer. Plus, the labor on this job is probably another $300 or $400. So you could easily be looking at an $800 to $1,000 job, or you can do it yourself for $10. All right, so let's get into what did it take to remove the fuel tank. And then we're going to come back and teach you how to take the pump out of here. Well, the fuel tank was easy back into there because I don't want, by the way, if you ever wonder why your fuel sending unit or the fill, you know where it shows if you're empty or full, this is actually what does it. It's just a little float in there, and it has a little bit of resistance right here, so as it's coming up or coming down, it tells the car whether you're empty or full. So definitely be extremely mindful when you're pulling it up or down, because you don't want to bend this or break it out when it's coming out. So you just kind of want to feed it in. If you see right here, see these locks? It's got a little rubber gasket that'll be underneath, and it's got these locks. And all they do is they just lock right here. Real simple stuff. And what you use is a brass punch and just kind of knock it backwards. I actually sell a tool for this. I mean, I'm so used to doing it the old way that I'm just not into new times yet. You can understand that. So, to take this thing out of the car is pretty simple. You're going to have to deal with all these fittings right here. So the first thing you want to do is pop this electric out, which is you're going to have to take this safety lock off. This just slides out, no problem. your two fuel lines. This, you're going to notice this right here goes to the fuel filter. The green one always is your go on these GMs. And how these work is, you notice this right here is popped out a little bit. They just kind of snap in place. You pull it apart, and then you kind of push it backwards so this part right here comes out. You can actually, once you got it snapped apart, you can stick something like a little pick in here and kind of pop it up a little bit. Just use a little bit of pressure. And basically there's a little lip, and once this gets up enough, it'll slide right off the lip. These two work exactly the same way. See, I'm going to have to actually push that up in order to, there you go. Well, yeah, there we go. So this right here just kind of comes in. Can you cue in right here? So you're going to push this up. You're going to push it in. See how it kind of comes up? And that's how it locks in. So when you get to put it back on, you just slip it on, push this down, and lock this over. That's it. That's all there is to it. Now this one works a little differently. See if I've got a better one, because this one right here is kind of gummy. But anyway, all you do on this is supposed to be like this. You just basically pinch these together. And when you pinch them together, look right here. When you pinch it together, it forces those flat, and you can just slide it off. So you literally, oh, here we go. Here's one right here. See how that this is what's catching the ring? You just push it in like that. See how they go flat? Pop it off. And see, it goes, the Evap has the same one. It goes here. And that right there, I don't know if you can see it, is the little ring we're talking about. And this is all it does. It just kind of goes on. So when you go to install it back, you just push it back on. See, now she's locked on. And you would just get down to where you could get your fingers on this. Push it in. Okay. Easier said than done, obviously. There it goes. See it right there? I just slid it back over and pops it out. So you got a return line, the main line that pumps it out. This is your Evap right here. It's got one coming. You'll see one on the canister where it goes to. And of course your electrical connection. Your fuel tank right here has this hose, which is real easy to access. Just a flathead, or probably like a 6mm-ish in that neighborhood. I can't remember what it was. And if you have to, if you have a full tank of gas, this is where you'd want to put the hose in at. Just stick it down and siphon it out. These, of course, are only probably around 15 gallons, so I don't know. It wouldn't take you that much to have maybe another person help you take it out. When you go, and this is sitting up inside the car. Let me show them. I'm going to talk with my hands for a second. So pretend this is underneath the car. This side right here is going to be toward the rear. Well, it's only got two fasteners and are 13mm. You just drop those and you'll notice the gas tank doesn't move anywhere. And the reason is it's got these little pieces on it. It's like two-sided tape. It's something sticky. So you're going to have to tug it down a little bit to kind of break that seal. I don't know why they did it. I think originally it must have been there for just space, or, you know, it's plastic. Who knows? GM just cutting corners. And there's also a little heat shield that's on the driver's side. And basically, it's going to go from right here to back here. I just undone the strap, let it sag for a second, popped it down, wiggled it out, and of course, let me show you what this looks like in here. Come here, cameraman. So I'm getting ready to put my, I don't have almost any gas at all, but I'm getting ready to put my fuel pump back in. And I just wanted to show y'all that you're not going to hurt the, there we go. Oh, it doesn't look good. Maybe I should just dump out the gas. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to clean all this gas out real quick. And then I'm going to come back and show you how this kind of all goes together. I'm just going to kind of quickly show the pump getting installed. Like I said, it's really no big deal. But here's the actual tank. I'm kind of showing it to you now. It's not very big. And another key factor to point out, are you upside down or right side up? He's right side up. Key factor to the point, guys, the Chevy Malibu, the Pontiac Sunfire, the Pontiac Grand Am, they all use the exact same fuel cell. So literally, if you go to a junkyard, these are going to be laying in the back seat because they pull the gas tanks on every one of them. So go to a pick-apart, and you can buy the whole unit for say 25 bucks, which might be easier. Or if you're real cheap, actually I take that back. It's not really about being cheap. At the junkyards, they cut these lines, so you really can't use the whole unit. So you end up getting into just replacing the motor, wherever I just did with the other one I just had. But that's okay. Here's a classic example of what they look like when you get them from a junkyard. They're all tore out, but the motors are fine. And another key note, people always like, oh, the inside filter's clogged up. I just want to kind of show you guys. Here's the outside filter. Then there's an inside filter, and then there's another filter in the line. So the chances on this sock right here getting hardened and clogged up, pretty much it doesn't happen unless the car sits for a long time. Alright, cut. Okay, so the first thing you do when you're separating this, it's got 3 little tabs. See it? 1, 2, and there's one on the back that may be a little harder to see. See it right here? Alright, so I just take a little pick and I just push them in because I don't want to cause any damage. Because remember, we're doing this for $10, so we got to be careful not to be buying replacement parts. As the tabs are in, I put a little screwdriver in here and kind of twist it. And very carefully, okay. Okay, now I've got them all clear, looks like. So now the next thing I'm going to do is take my little return line, wherever it's at. Oh, here it is down here. See it? Can you see that in the camera? I know I got everything kind of in the way.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you got it. And now, guys, all this does, this just simply pops out. See? And the reason we're doing that is because we don't want anything that's going to keep these two together. It's basically we're going to separate the unit. We're going to attempt to separate the unit. Because that's the only way we can get out the fuel pump. Alright, here goes. So problem 1 has been resolved. Okay, I've got this kind of laying to the side now, so it's kind of out of the way. And I want you to notice right here where this is at. This is what actually holds it in, or partially what holds it in. See how it just kind of clips in there? And it can pop out. But, truth be known, that it's got like a little S. Looking for my other little device. See, this is actually what it's sitting in. This is when I've got all nice taken apart. And you see it's got the 3 little holes, actually what you could make out of this, but here's one of them. So basically, it should just slide in, and at this point, it should just want to slide out. But that's kind of tricky, because it's been in there since 2003, so, and it's plastic. Little trick of the trade. I'm going to acetone this when I'm done to clean it, but nothing like a little bit of PB Blaster, WD-40, whatever you got. Whatever you can stand to help yourself out. Alright, hold that and let me get some long pliers. Alright, so this is sitting in here like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get just a little bit and just tug it up a little bit on each one of these. And eventually it ought to break free. But you see that little bit of stress right here? I can't afford for anything to break. So, I'm going to be really, really careful here. Out of here. Alright, so I'm kind of working this thing up. There goes a little bit. Catching that little outer lip. It's like crazy, but don't ask me why they did it this way, but they sure did. So, there you have it. Alright, so there it goes. She comes out. Okay. You think, oh, well, we must be done now. Yeah, right. Okay, now, of course, I've got this attached, so I've still got my sending unit attached. I haven't, I don't just take anything away, because you can be patient with it and work with it. Alright, so now I want everybody to notice, in order to get this piece off, you're going to have to get the sock off the bottom. See this tab right here, cameraman?
Got it.
Okay. Of course, we don't want to damage anything. It's kind of one of those jobs. Okay, now we successfully took the sock off without damaging it. And now the next thing we would do is actually slip the pump out. And pay attention to this tab right here. See the tab right here? You just pull that back. There you go. So now we've successfully, now we have our case back to where we can use it, which we'll put all this back together, then establish it. So the next thing I'm going to do, can the camera see this? Let me get this, set this kind of out of the way. You see I'm going to have to unhook electrical and 2 hoses. Alright? These 2 hoses right here. And I'm basically just going to use a little pick that cause just a little bit of a give there. And it should slide off. The electrical's pretty easy. It's just got 1 tab and it'll come off. And this one right here, of course, just slides off. Alright guys, be right back with you. Okay, so you see I just popped a metal band on this. And see the band pops out from the end there. And this kind of, I took a flathead and just kind of, you know, wiggled it up to release it off of this one. Now as far as the siphon return, I'm okay with just leaving that on there. This is both of them. Of course, I took one out of a junkyard, and that right there is kind of a pain, you know. But you can switch it out if you want to. It's just a matter of just sticking this in here and doing it. All right. So now that we have it out, and now we know what we're playing with, let's go test this and see if this one is actually bad as we think it is. Alright, so this is going back in, and you see I'm just going to kind of make sure no damage happens to this sock right here. And right here on the gas line you'll see a harness for all of these. They just pop in and out. But so we know what direction it's got to go. But the key thing is here, I want to make sure nothing happens to this float and I don't damage this. And of course, your rubber gasket that's going to seal all this gas fumes in is kind of important. To some people anyway. Unless you're really into fireworks. Okay, so we want to do like that, kind of. Fish it in. Okay. Now, as easy as it would be just to drop this sucker in, I'm going to kind of work on getting this rubber tab here where it's supposed to be. And it looks like I pretty much got it there. Now, this electrical right here, let's see. Okay, looking pretty good. Pretty good so far, guys. And now that I'm this far along, the only thing I really need to do now is I'm going to have to compress it, but I want to make sure when I go to lock it in place that this is where I want it at. And what would you say, cameraman? Would you say it looks like it's where we wanted it? Or,
I'd say it's pretty close.
Or maybe one more notch. Okay, now we want to check, kind of make sure everything's kind of kosher. We ain't pinching anything in. You see how this is all nice and clear? Okay, that's the fuel drop line right there. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're kind of very carefully moving toward the get it done section. Alright. I feel like I'm a little crooked. Let's try this again. Okay. See, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. I just want to kind of make sure we're all kind of nice and lined up. And once you kind of got it, you just press it down because this ring right here spins freely. And I'm going to take something and tap that around. So, okay, we'll do that in a second. And now this evap right here is kind of important. Who agrees that the evap is important? You want your car smelling like gas all the time? Then it's important. Okay, that just clicked on, which is good news. Okay, this little harness right here. And then we have two smaller fuel lines. There's one. Ah, there's the other one. Kind of get that up. Alright. Kind of be careful with these because, listen guys, this is the last place you want to have a breakdown of something. Okay, so I got my wiring harness, and it's kind of shipping right here. If you notice, it's the last one on the end. Okay. Alright, there's a good overview of how that little thing works. It just kind of pops up, you slip it on, pop it back down, and lock it over. Easy stuff. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fasten this on, and then I'm going to bring you under the car and show you a little test I do that, I don't know, might help you out. Okay, so we'll show you how I do it. I always test them before I put them back in, using everything. So in this particular case, I'm just going to rehook the wiring harness up before I do anything. Just plug it in, turn it on, see if I'm pumping fuel. If I'm pumping fuel, life is good, no problems. If not, we'll just kind of diagnose after that. But for you at home, you probably just installed a brand new one. That's cool. You're just ready to kind of put it back up. Transmission jacks work real well with this, unless you just like to pick up heavy stuff. But if you have a second friend with you, it's really helpful because it's kind of an awkward weight, and you know, one can push and the other one can pull, that kind of thing. You know how it goes. Misery's better with company. Alright. Okay, so as you notice, I have the electrical hooked up, and I took the little green one. You see it inside the Gatorade bottle here. This is kind of a quick, easy tap. Just because you're going to put it inside the car, you want to make sure that it's pumping. Okay, go ahead and hit the key. Turn it off. Hit the key. Okay, we have success, Houston. Oh wow, pumps a lot of gas quick. Alright guys, so there you go. And while we're under here, sorry about the shakiness of the video. This is what it actually looks like under here. Nice and empty. But as you see, that's the heat shield that protects the exhaust, protects the fuel cell from the exhaust. I just kind of left it all in place. You see, I didn't even take the back sides of my hangers off. I just kind of let them sit there. And on this side, same thing. You can see the hanger still kind of sitting up there. If you can even kind of see that hanger. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hold on, maybe from right here. There you go. You can see the hanger now. It's kind of hidden inside of the thing, but it's actually loose. You can see it's actually loose. So I'm just going to slide it back in there and call it a day, guys. First I got to unplug this or I won't be able to put it on, but anyway, I just hope this helps somebody out. Yeah, that was pretty badass how I just did that. Like, what did you say, cameraman? We did it in, what, an hour?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we did it in an hour for 10 bucks. But I'm not that good where I'm going to drink gas, even though I think I should. Just kidding. So look, subscribe. You got any questions on cars? I'm your guy. Just give me a shout. I'll try to help you out any way I can. And remember, no matter what people tell you at the mechanic shop, a $1,000 bill usually can be fixed for 10 or 20 bucks. Subscribe. Keep saving yourself the thousands of dollars. Peace out.